level, nobody's getting hired. Just kind of waiting.
Doc.
Yeah, maybe Doc Rivers could.
Yeah.
Second hour, first things first today. Are the Chiefs closing in on a dynasty? We'll find out in a few short minutes. And also, new drama in Dallas.
Craziness.
Yeah, I don't know.
I buy it.
Yeah.
I think it's a problem.
It's madness.
A strong,
Don't you be checking my mom's Facebook wilds. You talk a lot of trash on me.
Last night, ensconced in the Buffalo suite where Jason Kelsey took his shirt off, a select group of students, academics, and someone who gets Chipotle every day fought and toiled and burnt the midnight oil to make the best segment in all of sports media. It's an honor and a privilege. It's time for a moderately short, abridged, succinct Nick's Tears.
Yes, but unlike, the first cousin of the tiers, the herd hierarchy, we're not going to abandon it just because we would finally have to have the Chiefs ahead of the Bills and just scotch the entire segment and claim it's because there's only 4 teams left. I saw you do it, Colin. I was very disappointed. Well, the committee met. The committee ranked these 4 teams, and then we had a little extra bonus at the end. Bottom of the tier, same old Niners, that is the Niners. Do you have a healthy quarterback? Guess what? You make the NFC Championship game. That's how it's worked with Kyle Shanahan when they've had a healthy quarterback. And if in the NFC Championship game you can manage to not have to throw the football, you can make the Super Bowl. But at some point, no matter how good the one year they did was the year, of course, Jimmy threw the ball 8 times. They won by 17 points. Maybe that can be the game plan against the Lions, but usually at some point your quarterback in this round or the next is going to have to make a play. That's why they don't have any jewelry to go along with them, but maybe Brew's right. They're not the same old Niners, and maybe Brock Purdy can continue his awesome season as a less than awesome player with an awesome Super Bowl. We shall see. Underrated and under-discussed, the Lions. We are guilty of it, under-discussing this team. We are not now, the we of the committee, not guilty of underrating the Lions. We did a little research. In Week 7, they were Tier 2. They were Tier 3 in Week 11. They were called scary in real life. They were called Final Four upside. They were even called Super Bowl contenders. But despite all of that, the Lions seem to be a team that is being considered cute and cuddly, a good story, but not a real championship contender, despite the fact that they started the season going into a team stadium that a lot of very smart people thought was going to win every single game of the year, and they beat them. I mean, probably the best team.
What?
I mean, they're probably the best team, guys. There's not really an argument against it. They had the best record. They have the league MVP. They have an excellent offense. They have an excellent defense. They have an excellent head coach. Right.
My take from yesterday.
And guess what, Brew? There are members of the committee, no matter what I tell them, that think you're the smartest guy on the show. I don't know what they're watching, but they like a lot of your takes. And they remind me of another team that checked all those boxes. The best record, the arguable MVP candidate. In fact, they also wore purple. And that was we got across sports a couple decades ago, but the 2002 60-plus win Sacramento Kings. And you know, of course, who they ran into, the 0-2 Lakers. That was going to try to get their third championship, trying to cement the dynasty. They were the 3 seed after being the 1 seed so often. They had to go on the road and their toughest series was, of course, their conference finals. Some people even make officiating hijinks accusations, but at the end of the day, what happened was they had Shaq, Kobe, and Phil. So at the end of the day, you have Mahomes, Kelsey, and Reed. That is the conference championship tiers, Greg Jennings.
Wow, I absolutely want to vomit looking at those.
Ooh, look at Greg.
That is terrible.
Beef on that side.
Why is it terrible?
Because, number one, we see the Chiefs. Like, this is all messed up. Like, if I were to rank these tiers, I would definitely have the Chiefs down lower. And so that's where I'm going to focus. I'm going to focus on the Chiefs because I believe the Ravens, as well as the San Francisco 49ers, should be atop of the Kansas City Chiefs. So for me, when I look at these teams, it's not the standard.
I would have the 1 seeds up at the top.
What it sounds like is a resume and who has the best resume.
This isn't LinkedIn.
I mean, that's basically what the Kansas City Chiefs are when you're talking about the Lakers and all that. So for me, when I look at these season comparisons, you look at these teams because we understand it's not the ranking. So let's just look at the seasons, including the playoffs. Look at the points per game. These are real numbers.
Wow.
These two teams, the Ravens and the 49ers, produce points. That is something, Nick, I know you have to do in order to win games. We'll see if the Chiefs can do it this weekend.
Yeah.
Passing touchdowns to interceptions, 31 is that, wait.
It's a good graphic. I'll give you that.
Does Patrick Mahomes play for the Chiefs?
Oh.
Because 17 interceptions, and then when you look to the right, you got 7 with obviously Lamar and Purdy. Passer rating. Mahomes, what I'm trying to tell you is the Chiefs are last in all these categories. So how in the world are we just trying to take all of what we know the Chiefs were and just mask and bandage and put all this stuff up as if, they're back?
I mean, I'll tell you.
They're not back.
Those were regular season numbers. Yeah. These are the playoff tiers.
They were regular season and playoff.
Okay, then that's very odd because in the postseason, as the playoff tiers, if the Ravens and Niners offenses are so awesome, how come the Chiefs have scored 53 points this postseason and they're in the 30s?
Tell me
why.
They played a couple teams with the
Ravens. They only played one game?
No, well, it's actually
Chiefs
because the
played
Ravens
2.
and Niners have only played one game each. It wasn't because of the defenders, it was because of the extra game. But go ahead.
I would like to see Greg's graphic again.
Oh, I don't think that's how teams.
Can I see that graphic again? Dusty!
Yep.
All right. The Niners, those are some high numbers, wow.
Yeah,
Points per game, 29 essentially. 34 to 12 TD interception. Look at the passer rating.
Why
Number
put passer
one.
rating on there, Greg?
Who is the quarterback for that team?
No.
Brock Purdy?
He's a good quarterback.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Greg. That's all I've been wanting to hear. He's a good quarterback.
You and I
He's
agree.
a very good quarterback.
Oh, well, then
All right, here we go. I'm with Greg. They should be Baltimore, San Francisco, Kansas City,
Wilds.
Detroit.
Go get these guys in USA
it's
today.
not the standings.
That is the standings.
What was Detroit's rate? It was the same as Kansas City.
Yeah.
So I'm putting Kansas City ahead of Detroit.
Right, and they beat Kansas City.
Right. So it's not the standings and all that.
It sounds like a power ranking.
Yeah, I mean.
Those are my power rankings.
Okay,
and
well, that's
how they should look. But look, I like to give the audience something. San Francisco should not be on the bottom. That is ridiculous. And I like to give people something they can't get elsewhere.
Oh, good.
They could dig. If they really want to go through the all 22 and really get gritty with it, they could. But I dug for this. Didn't even get it from Josh or Dusty.
Well, then
Everybody's saying without Debo, the Niners offense is dead, especially Brock Purdy. What in the world can he do without Debo? Because Debo's, 50-50 still? 4 games. Now, they lost 2 games without Debo this year. But guess who else was out? Trent Williams, the all-pro left tackle.
Yeah.
And guess who was banged up? Christian McCaffrey. Yeah. Brock Purdy has played 4 games in the last 2 years without Debo, but with Trent Williams, who will be playing this weekend. And he's 4-0. Greg, points per game is even better than your graphic.
Is this all last
29,
year?
No, 3 games last year and 1 this year.
Okay.
Because I'm counting the Detroit game.
Gotcha.
The last week's game as without Debo. 4-0 because he was out early.
He was out most of the game.
Yeah, he was out most of the game.
This is why Josh and Dusty wouldn't
4-0, 29.7 points a game, Wilds. And 2 of the teams they beat, Seattle and last week, playoff teams. So they're going to be fine even if Debo can't go. Because Purdy and McCaffrey and Kittle and Ayuk and Trent Williams.
If I'm understanding that correctly, last year Brock Purdy played well without Debo. This year in the 2 games without him, he played poorly and they lost. And
no,
this
you
year,
need Trent Williams. Because the offensive line is not highly ranked.
And this week,
it's the worst offensive line of the teams still playing.
Okay, dynasty
especially
time.
without Trent Williams.
Again, we're going to restart it. Last night, ensconced in, honestly, the same Buffalo suite, but this time Travis Kelce had his shirt on. A select group of students, academics, and people that are getting Chipotle on Friday fought and toiled and burnt the midnight oil even later to make the best historical segment in all of sports media. Again, it's an honor and a privilege. It's time for Dynasty Tiers.
Dynasty Tiers. Now, there's only been a select few dynasties, so everyone listed on this is not a full-blown dynasty. They're at the bottom. They could have been or close to dynasty adjacent. Tier 5, We don't need fancy names. The Raiders of the 70s into the 80s, Washington in the 80s, couple Giants teams, and then the Bills. We will show you their resumes. These teams didn't quite get there.
The Giants
The
are
Bills
a dynasty?
Well, no, I just said dynasty adjacent, guys. These are all the
Bills
teams
never
that have
won a Super
multiple
Bowl.
championships in a short period of time. Or in the Bills' case, they of course the only team to ever go to 4 straight Super Bowls. There's the resume. They're not dynasties.
Okay,
I understand
got
that.
confused.
I got it, buddy. I said it at the beginning. You were too busy
not
worrying
all-
about
we're not all
Friday
greatest
greatest
Chipotle.
dynasties on there, so kind of an odd.
I'm hoping it
It says
gets
Tier
dynasty
4.
4 times on the graphic.
Okay, tier 4. Again, there's obviously not 15 dynasties, Wilds. Tier 4, all of these teams except